For Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for allowing us to congregate here on the day of Jumu'ah. Let's spare a moment and remember our fellow Muslim brothers and sisters around the world. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bestow His infinite mercy and blessings upon the entire Ummah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen. There's a Sahih hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam where the best of creation sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says that if a person is away from the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and is indulging in worldly affairs only, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will fill his hands with labor and will never allay his poverty. So in other words, if you are working for this dunya only and you forget the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so this dunya takes you away from the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what will happen? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will never allay your poverty. You will continue to go for more and more and more, and you will never be satisfied. So Allah will fill your hands with labor. You will work even harder, you will work even harder, and Allah will not allay your poverty. So your need will still remain there. If not, it will increase. Now, I'm going to speak about something today which I was requested by someone very dear to me to speak about this topic today. So me, for example, I'm from my family, I'm the second generation here in the UK. And then my children are the third generation. Now, the first generation, like my parents and my other uncles and whatever, when they migrated to the UK, what was life like then? Basically, these people, they came to the UK. Now, they've left their motherland and they've come to a foreign land. And they needed to shelter their family. They needed to earn a livelihood. They needed to make money. But how was their religious affairs? Subhanallah. Take this prime example of this masjid that we are in today. This was a former church. And those first generation immigrants who were here, our elders, may Allah, those who have departed from this world, may Allah elevate their ranks, and those who are currently serving this house. This church was converted into a masjid, and now you see, on a weekly basis, we have over 2,500 congregants here for Jumu'ah. What did they do? They came to a foreign land, they worked hard, they had to feed their family, but their religious obligations, they did not forget them. They still had the time to think of buying a church, getting money together, buying a church, converting it into a masjid. And me, here now, I'm 40 years old, sitting on this minbar and I'm spreading the message. I studied my Quran from this same madrasa 35 years ago. So look at the vision that our ancestors or our elders had. And we today are the second generation, somewhat, are trying to continue this work. But look at the third generation. So for example, my children and the younger lot. Very, very, very sad to see. Very, very sad to see. The direction that our youngsters are on. Because the reason why I'm able to say this, because I'm regularly interacting with these youngsters. And I see the way they walk, the way they talk, their characters and the way they are, their the way of life is nothing like how we were. Nothing. And what I came to know, so basically on a Friday night, we have a youngsters' night. And on one Friday night, I invited 2 imams to come and speak. And these both imams, the brothers, one serves in one masjid, one serves in another masjid. And they're both in their 20s. They're young. Both Hafiz al-Quran, fluent in Arabic, and mashallah scholars. So, on the Friday night, they gave a brief talk, and then we had a question and answer session. So I posed a question to these young imams. Why? Because the audience were all youngsters. They were teenagers in their 20s. About good 30 of them were there. So I asked these imams a question. I said, growing up in the UK, in London, you guys done your conventional education. You went to school, college, university. You got your degrees. Yet you became the Hafiz of the Quran. Yet you went on to become scholars. What is the secret? How was this possible? We have these youngsters here. None of us can do this or have done this. What is the secret? And subhanallah, one of the brother, he said, our grandfathers are mufti, grand scholar. Our great grandfathers are mufti, great. He goes 6 generations, all muftis. He goes, my uncles, they're all muftis. You know what a mufti is, yeah? You know, you have an alim, you have a mufti. They're all muftis. So he said, in our household, everyone is on the deen. We had that upbringing where our mothers on the deen as well. We used to mix with our peers, but they had no influence on us, but rather we influenced them. Because when we would spend our time with these peers and return back home, we're back to this Islamic environment. We're back to the Quran and the Sunnah. And this kept us firm. And today we stand here and we are imams. So, what is for today, what do we need to do? We as parents, and if those of us who are still looking to get married, and inshallah will have children in the future, make your mind up now. Make your mind up now. Because you're going to run for this dunya, you will never satisfy your need. Allah will fill your hands with labor and never allay your poverty. But you turn to Allah, you'll have the dunya and you'll have the akhirah. And lastly, remember in Surah Kahf, which we are recommended to read every Friday, there's a story of Khidr alayhi salam and Musa alayhi salam. And there was this wall, Musa alayhi salam and Khidr alayhi salam went to a village and they were hungry, they asked for food, but nobody entertained them. So Khidr alayhi salam saw a wall which was about to collapse. And Khidr alayhi salam went and repaired that wall. And Musa alayhi salam said to him, why did you do that? They didn't entertain us. You could have asked for a wage for what you done. And Khidr alayhi salam said, no. The reason why I done that is not of my accord, it's from the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why? Hear this now, this is the point. Why? Because beneath that wall there was a treasure buried by a father who died. And he left behind 2 orphan children. And his father buried that treasure, that when his children will grow up, they will dig that treasure and they will benefit from it. So if that wall collapsed, that treasure would have become apparent. People would have looted from it. So Khidr alayhi salam said, by the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I repaired that wall so that the treasure remains hidden for those orphan children. What point do we derive? A father, why? Because the father was a pious man. He was a God-fearing man. And look, he's dead. He's in the next life, but Allah is still protecting his children. So parents, you will die. Make this dua. Allah, make our children the coolness of our eyes and make them the leaders of the mu'mineen. So we need to fix ourselves in order for our generations to come. You don't want them to be, now the fitna that is going on around. Honorable Sheikh is here as well. You don't know what's going on. You don't know what's being fed to your children in their schools, in their high schools, and the general public in general. It's total fitna. They're trying to get this Islamic principles out and fill their filth in our children's brains. So we need to fix this from the home. The home. We fix it from the home, inshallah, and we will have a prosperous generations to come. True soldiers of Allah. True lovers of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. May Allah accept our work. for the deen. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive us, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us all Jannatul Firdaus in the neighborhood of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Wa ma alayna illa